Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 5 of remote learning for world religions. It shouldn't be too long today, so I just have a few bits of information for you. One, some of you might have noticed that your grades changed a little bit, so we decided to do 2 categories for the term. Everything we did in class will be worth 25%. Everything we do for remote learning will be worth 75%. So this means that all of your work completed to March 16th is worth 25% of that final grade. Any work completed after March 16th is worth 75% of your final grade and is labeled remote learning. And that's going to include any of the service hours that we do. So we're going to change the service hours project a bit. So it'll be like an almsgiving type project. So please keep that in mind. Okay. I've been calling all students who I've had zero to little no contact with. So if you know someone that needs technology or needs help or isn't getting their stuff done, please tell them to contact me. I'm trying to get a hold of them. I've been calling homes and emailing and all these different things. Okay, so please let them know. So your rack for this week, just one video to watch on the 5 pillars of Islam. I'll go over the quick PowerPoint here. We'll have a webinar at 9 o'clock on Wednesday on Teams, so I'll send you guys the invite soon. This week for alms, do something bigger for someone in your household. Just because, do like cook them breakfast, or offer to help with dinner, or like take the garbage out, or something like that. It really helps people, and they really feel cared about and loved for when you just do something without being asked, just because it's the right thing to do. The assignment this week is about ranking the 5 pillars, and I'll talk about that as we go through the PowerPoint here. Okay. Okay. So first things first, you know this. So the 5 pillars. So you know what a ritual is, and a ritual helps us to kind of understand and explain something and show our faith. So the 5 pillars of Islam are what it basically means to be Muslim. So they have to complete these 5 pillars. So the first pillar is the creed, and this is the profession of faith, and that is that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. This is like the core beliefs. This is like the first major thing. Like it's the first thing that a baby hears when they're born, and it's supposed to be the last thing that you say before you go to bed at night, and the first thing you see in the morning. So it's kind of a big deal. Okay. The second pillar is prayer. So prayer is said 5 times a day for Muslims. There's a ritual washing of the hands and face, which, hey, is really good right now in COVID. Woo, wash your hands. You're supposed to face Mecca. And so they have like a prayer rug or mat. And when they lay it down, they actually face the direction of Mecca. Okay. And we'll talk about Mecca in a bit. But on Fridays, public prayer takes place in a mosque. And it's basically led by someone who is conducting worship. So kind of like a priest on like Sundays in Catholic churches. Okay. So I'm just going to show you a few different pictures of mosques just because they're pretty. So this is one in Saudi Arabia. This is in Medina, which we talked about last week, was where Muhammad left and went up to and then came back down to Mecca. This is in Cairo in Egypt. Isn't that pretty? This is the Blue Mosque in Istanbul, Turkey. It's one of the largest mosques in the world. I believe it holds up to 60,000 worshippers. So it's pretty amazing. That's the inside of the Blue Mosque. It's called the Blue Mosque because there's blue tiles that make it up. This is in Iran. This is the interior of a mosque in Iran. This is a mosque in West Africa, so significantly different. Also North Africa. This is in Indonesia. This is some of the Islamic architecture in Spain because Spain has a lot of Muslim influence and Islamic influence in their architecture. This is in Sarajevo. This is in Arizona. Okay, and then the third pillar is almsgiving, which, hey, is what we're doing. We're giving alms. So giving money to the poor is required. It's not optional. It's supposed to be 2.5% of the value of your possessions to a public treasury that then distributes it accordingly. Okay. Now, lots of Christians actually have like 10% of their income is like their almsgiving. For a lot of groups, it's just like what you can give. But like it is a requirement, like as part of the 5 pillars. Okay. The fourth pillar is fasting. So this takes place during the month of Ramadan, which is actually starting in 4 days. So this is the month when Muhammad received the message of Allah. So during all daylight hours of this month, you can't have any food, drink. You're also not supposed to have evil thoughts, drinking, smoking, sex. But food is kind of like the big thing for a lot of people. You don't eat or drink anything all day. So from sun up to sundown, no food. So in the evening, people gather together and they have like, they break the fast and they have a very light meal because you couldn't have a heavy meal, you just get sick. And then it ends with this like massive 3-day feast called Eid al-Fitr. And so Ramadan this year is from April 23rd to May 23rd. Sometimes though it happens in the summer. And so I remember I had students one year that were Muslim and they were in California for a football camp with AOB. And so it's like 35 degrees and they're at a football camp and they can't have water. Like the coaches said that it was like crazy, but like that's part of their religion, and so they wouldn't have anything at all. And so Ramadan changes throughout the year, but also think about Canada. Sun up to sundown in the middle of summer is a lot longer of a period of time than if like it was in March or something like that, right? Because our days change so much and our hours of daylight change so much. So it's not like it's from 7 to 7, like it changes in the world. So sun up to sundown. And so sometimes like if it's in the summer, like you're not eating until 10:40 at night. And then by like 5:36 in the morning, you're not eating again for the rest of the day. Okay. And the fifth pillar is pilgrimage. So this is required once in your lifetime, if possible. Like if you can make it there, if you can afford it, things like that. It's supposed to be like the supreme experience for Muslims. There's pilgrimage clothing that you wear. Women have clothes that leave only their face and hands uncovered. It kind of depends on the culture you're in for what it looks like. So it's like can be very colorful and very different. And they all go to Mecca. And so this is the Grand Mosque in Mecca, and this is the cube-shaped shrine. And so this is said to be the seat of, like right below Allah up in heaven. Okay. And so once you enter the Great Mosque, you circle the Kaaba 7 times. And so this is what it looks like during the Hajj. Okay. This is what it looks like right now because of COVID. Okay. So this is like Mecca during the pilgrimage. It's pretty impressive. And so the last thing I want to talk about is jihad or struggle. So this is sometimes counted the 6th pillar of Islam. Now, this isn't what we typically hear in media. It is not like a specific pillar or anything. And it basically means anything that detracts you from revering Allah. And so it's kind of like a personal struggle. It doesn't actually mean holy war. And so it's kind of argued about that. Now, some Muslims have taken this to mean holy war, but the Quran supports armed struggle for the sake of Islam only if it's done in self-defense. So for this week, there's just one movie, like I said, watch the 5 pillars of Islam. And then the assignment that I want you to do is on ranking the 5 pillars. So you're going to rank all 5 of them based on what order you think is most important. And then you're actually going to write a response telling me which pillar do you think would be the most difficult to complete as a teenager in Canada and why? So like, is it praying 5 times a day? Is it going to pilgrimage in Mecca? Is it fasting because you'd be so hungry in the middle of school? Things like that, okay? So like I said, I've been trying to reach a number of you. Please talk to your friends, make sure they're getting the assignment. We will be having a new service assignment that's going to focus on almsgiving, and I'll send that out to all religion classes soon, probably by next week. So this will be completed in June to replace your service hours, and it's going to be included in that COVID remote learning assessment, okay? And I think that's everything I have for you today. So if you have any questions, let me know, and we will see you guys soon. Bye.